It's really amazing how some sports just dominate whole parts of the world, but maybe fly under the radar for others like us. Maybe cricket's definitely one of those.
Oh, absolutely.
And based on some really interesting material you shared, we're going to dive deep into this bat and ball game. It has this huge global following.
Yeah.
So whether you're already a massive fan, you live and breathe it, or maybe you're just curious why it's so popular, well, you're in the right place.
Exactly. And the idea for this deep dive, it's really to go beyond just, describing cricket.
Right.
We want to explore what makes it tick, why it's so significant.
Right.
We're using an episode from the English Basic Podcast, Let's Talk About Cricket, as a starting point. The hosts there, Alex and Sarah, they aim to explain it simply, have a bit of fun, we'll build on that, add some more layers.
Okay, good plan. So for those of us like me, perhaps, whose main bat and ball experience is maybe a game in the park. What is cricket, fundamentally? Yeah, what are we picturing?
Okay, well, at its heart, you've got two teams, 11 players each.
11, okay.
And the main action is one team batting, trying to score runs, while the other team bowls the ball and fields. Their job is getting the batters out, stopping the runs.
Right. Hitter, thrower, fielders. Sounds familiar, that basic setup. But the podcast hosts, they mentioned some really key differences from, say, baseball, which might be the first comparison people make.
Yeah, they did.
The bat, for instance. It's flat.
It is, yeah. Visually very different, and it definitely affects how you hit the ball. But maybe even more striking, and something they highlighted, is just how long a match can last.
Ah, yes.
A test match, which is kind of the traditional format, could go on for up to 5 days.
5 days. I remember the host joking that's longer than most people's vacations.
Ha, yeah, it's a fair point.
It really hammers home the kind of endurance needed for players and fans, I guess.
Definitely.
Now, as we sort of wade into this, what key words do we absolutely need? The essentials.
Good question. Let's lock down a few. The wicket. That's what the bowler's aiming at. It's 3 wooden sticks, stumps with 2 little bits, bails, on top. The batter guards it.
Okay, wicket. Got it.
Then you have the bowler, the one delivering the ball. The person hitting is the batter. People often say batsman, but batter is becoming more common, more inclusive.
Batter. Okay.
And a run. That's how you score.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Wicket, bowler, batter, run.
Right. Consider that our basic toolkit. Now, the source material, the podcast, it touched on where this all came from. Not exactly stadium origins, right?
No, not at all. Its roots are way back in 16th century England. Apparently, it started out quite informal, maybe more of a children's game in the southeast counties.
Huh. Pretty humble beginnings for such a global giant. How did it go from, kids playing around to this massive international sport?
Well, it evolved over centuries. Adults started playing more seriously, rules got written down, and by the 18th century, it was pretty much England's national sport. Organized matches, clubs, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And that history, that English origin, is key to understanding why it spread through the British Empire and took root so strongly in certain places.
Which brings us to today. The podcast hosts said countries like India, Pakistan, Australia, South Africa, they're basically crazy about cricket. That feels like an understatement sometimes.
It really can be. It's woven into the cultural fabric. It's more than just sport in these places. It connects to national identity, social life, big historical moments even.
Yeah.
The podcast actually shared a great little story about someone visiting Delhi during a Cricket World Cup.
Oh, yeah, I remember that bit. The streets were empty because everyone was inside watching India play.
Exactly. It just paints such a vivid picture of how much it grips the nation,
Yeah.
It's not just background noise, it's the main event, a shared experience.
Totally. That collective focus is huge.
Yep.
Okay, so if you're watching, it's not just one type of cricket experience, is it? The source mentioned different formats.
That's right. It caters to different attention spans, maybe. You got Test cricket, that's the 5-day version we mentioned.
The marathon.
Definitely. Then there's one-day cricket. That's like a full day, maybe 8 hours or so.
Okay.
And the really popular one now, especially for drawing new fans, is T20 cricket. That's much shorter, around 3 hours. The T stands for 20, by the way. 20 overs per side.
Ah, the high-speed version.
Pretty much. Each format has its own rhythm, its own strategies. Test cricket is seen as the purest form, real tactical depth. One day is a complete story in a day. T20 is just bang, action from the start.
So, okay, 5 days or 3 hours. What's the basic flow of the game? How does it actually work on the field?
The fundamental loop is consistent. One team bats, tries to score runs. The other team bowls and fields, trying to get batters out.
How do they get them out? Briefly.
Oh, various ways. Bowler hits the wicket, fielder catches the ball after the batter hits up before it bounces, leg before wicket, which is a bit complex, run-outs. Several ways.
Okay.
Once 10 batters are out, or they finish their set number of overs, an over is 6 balls bowled by one bowler, then the team swap.
Right. They switch jobs.
Exactly. And whoever scores the most runs in their batting turn, their innings, wins. Simple outcome, complex process sometimes.
Got it. And the podcast hosts, they really conveyed the excitement, didn't they? Especially for T20. Sounds like that's a good way in for newcomers.
Oh, absolutely. T20 speed, the big hits, the quick changes. It's very viewer-friendly, very dynamic. Great if you don't have 5 days to spare.
Fair enough. Now, we mentioned India, Pakistan, Australia, but where else is cricket a really big deal? Can we map it out a bit more?
Sure. The source listed the key players. India, Pakistan, definitely. Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, huge there too. Australia, England, South Africa, New Zealand. And interestingly, Afghanistan was mentioned as a rising force.
Yeah, Afghanistan. Wow. Shows it's still spreading.
It does. And to really drive home the scale, that statistic about the 2019 World Cup viewership.
Oh, yeah. That was staggering. What was it again?
Over 1.6 billion viewers
Yeah.
worldwide.
1.6 billion. It's almost hard to process that number.
It really is. The hosts put it in perspective. That's more than the entire population of Europe and North America combined.
Wow.
It just underlines that this isn't a niche sport. It's a global phenomenon, a massive shared passion in certain parts of the world.
Mind-boggling is the word. Okay, moving beyond the rules and the sheer scale of it all, the podcast shared some fun facts, some stories. A few really stood out.
Yeah, there were some great little nuggets in there.
Like the longest match ever.
Oh, that one. Incredible. 12 days. England versus South Africa back in 1939. Can you imagine?
12 days. You could, I don't know, learn a language in that time. It just shows how different the pace could be. Very different from a modern sport.
Totally. And then there was the mention of Sachin Tendulkar.
A legendary name. Even people who don't follow cricket might know him.
Exactly. And the fact he started playing for India internationally when he was just 16.
16? That's incredible.
Speaks volumes about his talent, right? Just destined for greatness.
Clearly. And then something more modern, kind of quirky, that weird tiebreaker they used in a T20 match in 2007. Not extra time or anything.
Ah, the bowl out. Yes. Basically, like a penalty shootout in football, but for cricket.
How did that work?
Each team picked, I think it's 5 bowlers, and they just took turns trying to bowl and hit the empty wicket. No batter involved. Most hits wins.
That's brilliant. A really unique way to settle things under pressure. Shows there's still room for, I guess, innovation, even in a traditional sport.
Definitely adds drama.
Yeah.
And speaking of experiences, that personal story one of the hosts shared, going to a Big Bash match in Australia, T20 again.
Yeah, that sounded great. They went as a first-timer, didn't really know all the rules inside out.
Right. But despite that, they just got swept up in the atmosphere, the energy, the crowd, the excitement. It really stuck with them.
It shows that sometimes the live experience, that buzz, can be captivating even if you don't catch every single nuance of the game, right?
Absolutely. That shared energy is a huge part of sports appeal.
Definitely. Now, towards the end, the podcast hosts reflected a bit more broadly. Why does cricket mean so much, beyond just being a game?
Well, like a lot of big sports, it acts as a kind of social glue, doesn't it? It builds community, sparks national pride, creates heroes and stories people share. And the source mentioned the values it can teach, things like teamwork, patience. You definitely need patience for Test cricket.
For sure.
And respect, strategy, dealing with pressure, all that stuff.
And it seems like understanding cricket even a little bit can actually give you insights into different cultures, especially, as they said, in Asia and the UK.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's like a shared language in those places. Knowing about cricket can help you connect, understand historical ties, social dynamics. It's a real cultural touchstone for millions.
Right. So pulling it all together from this deep dive, drawing on that English Basic podcast episode, we've seen cricket has this long history, these different ways to play, and just this immense global reach. It's clearly way more than just hitting a ball.
Absolutely. It's a cultural force, inspires incredible passion, links people across continents.
It really is.
And maybe that leaves you, the listener, with something to think about. When you see the huge cultural impact of a sport like cricket, how it binds communities and defines identity for so many, well, what does that tell us about the power of sport generally? How does it shape who we are, how we connect all over the world? Perhaps looking into other global sports passions could reveal even more about this link between games and culture.